What's going on, ChavezzSlovakia? It's your boy Chavez here for one of my favorite things, worms.
Okay, but
I like worms.
That gives me a question, though.
I like inchworms.
Right.
I like garden snakes. My first time seeing a snake.
Snakes are not worms.
The first time seeing a snake.
Okay.
I was in my backyard. Snakes are like just worm lizards.
I
was in my backyard in Ohio. And I was like, Dad, are there snakes back there? And he's like, let's find out. And he grabbed broomsticks and he broke the bottoms of all the broomsticks. And he gave me, my sister, and him broken broomsticks and mops and other sticks. Mm-hmm. And we went hiking in the back.
Yeah.
And we found a bunch of garden snakes and we screamed and we all ran home. And then when my mom got back, I still got grounded.
For?
Well, we broke all the brooms and the mops.
But your dad did that.
It was my fault, apparently, for encouraging him.
I see.
Yeah. What about yours?
So my question is, I'm your wife, right? So.
That's not a question.
Am I your wife?
For now.
Okay. And do you love me more than anything on this earth?
I suppose.
Right. Okay. So.
Are you testing my patience? Yes.
So would you still feel that way? Would you still feel that way if I was a worm?
Anyways.
It's a real question. If your man answers it wrong, leave him. So
I've already expressed to my wife several times, and I kind of just feel bad that this is my stance on the time. I would squish it. And that's just for both of us.
But I'm your wife.
That's for both of us. Yeah. Yeah.
With your hand? You would smush me with your hands?
To death do us part. Worm wife. Maybe she'll reincarnate again. Maybe it's like an isekai thing where I just keep doing it over and over again and she'll come back a normal girl. Anyways, worm tier list. I'm sure they probably don't all rank that high, but they're still around, which means they're doing something right. So next time your professor calls you a stinky worm, get into it.
Whose professors are calling them stinky?
The next time your dominatrix calls you a stinky worm, get into it.
Oh my God.
What other people call you a worm? Worm. Worm. That's a good one.
Okay, wait. I'm so sorry. I know we just had this whole long intro, but I just had somebody come into my job the other day and then we were talking super normal, right? Having a normal conversation. And then she was like, oh yeah, we have pet leeches and we didn't want to feed them on ourselves. So then we were out there looking for blood. And do you know how hard it is to find blood to feed your leeches? So yeah, if you ever get a pet leech, and I was like, in my head, I won't. That's not something I've ever been interested in, but okay. If you ever get a pet leech, be prepared to feed them on yourself or to find an alternate source of blood. But it can't be pig's blood because pig bloods contain a lot of pathogens that could kill the leeches.
So if you have pet leeches, stay out of my house while I'm sleeping, specifically.
Real conversation.
Yeah, I know. I'm
the
sorry.
humble worm may be one of the most overlooked characters in the entire game.
They're trying to make the worm look majestic and trying to give him like nice lighting and shit.
Though they may seem powerless and pathetic, in reality the worm faction has access to some of the rarest, most extraordinary special abilities in the game, and can be a nightmare to play against. But which worm builds are dominating the meta, and which are just bait? Find out in the worm tier list.
Let's do it.
But before we dive into the rankings, what even is a worm?
Okay.
Even though they're the most numerous creatures in the game, technically there's no such thing as a single, all-encompassing worm faction.
Worms.
Worm builds are actually part of several different, distantly related factions.
Okay.
But there are many similarities they share. All worms have long, tube-shaped character models with minimal or non-existent appendages, enabling them to weave in and out of tight spaces easily. Simple as it may be, this has proven to be one of the most reliable body plans in the history of the game.
Right.
As worms have been in the game since pretty much patch 1.0. As far as base stats go, worms are not particularly stacked.
Right.
Now, credit where it's due, because of their excellent regenerative perks and uniquely advanced burrowing abilities, they do score pretty high in both vitality and stealth. And there are exceptions that score high in other stats as well.
Right.
But in general, they have below average base stats in almost every skill.
I like how the intelligence is just like, is pretty low, you know? But like the power stat is even lower.
General, they have below average base stats in almost every skill. With simple brains, no weapons, no armor, and no legs, the average worm is pretty lacking in their intelligence, power, defense, and mobility stats.
He's really
the exceptions are where
there.
it gets interesting, though. So without further ado, let's dig into the tier list.
Yeah.
They can't be F tier because they're still here.
Okay.
But I don't think they're S tier because they're just not that overpowered.
Right. I'm thinking that they're somewhere like C or D.
That's what I'm saying. There's leveling around C top tier, right? Yeah.
First in F tier, the Ice Worm. This build takes the burrowing capability.
So I may have over-expected from this. Okay.
All right.
The worm in an unconventional direction and opts to dig through glaciers rather than
I didn't know
solid
that
Earth.
existed.
This is a pretty unique gimmick as it grants them completely uncontested access to glacial algae as a food source.
Right.
But unfortunately, it seems like unlocking the ability to burrow through ice must have cost all their evolution points, because the ice worm has some pretty glaring flaws in its strategy. First, the ice worm's stealth stat is abysmal.
It's
its
black.
jet black appearance.
It's actually black.
All right.
Oh, these guys are freaking idiots, man. This is the dumbest worm. Come on, bro.
Offers zero camouflage against the icy white surroundings, making them extremely easy for birds to spot from above and pick off.
Easy.
A few extra points into snow camouflage would go a long way here.
Come on.
And the second flaw, ice worms ironically have almost zero freezing resistance or heat resistance.
Oh my god.
What do you mean?
Oh my
what do you mean the ice worm doesn't have free?
This is like if your kid goes to school all semester and doesn't even know what the final project is. Like, who was going to class for you? You didn't even glean any information by being there every day.
I'm so upset right now.
You're completely lost.
I'm so upset right now.
Can you just check in at the start of 10 minutes of every workday at least? What's happening?
All right.
It needs perfect temperature and it's black in white/clear liquid.
Got it.
They die immediately if temperatures drop below freezing, and melt if temperatures rise to even a few degrees above freezing.
Wow.
Luckily, due to a quirk of the game's physics engine, the temperature of glacial ice is fairly stable at their exact Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
But as we've seen lately, relying on glaciers as a stable habitat is quite the gamble. It wouldn't take too much to make this build completely broken, but for now, it's the lowest ranked worm on this list.
Okay, still moving down there. Earthworm!
Also in F tier, we have the Earthworm.
Wow.
Yes, it's true. The archetypal worm everyone knows and loves is a low tier.
Damn.
Earthworms have terrible stats. It has no offensive moves, no armor, and isn't quick enough to rely on speed to escape attacks. What's worse, even the one special ability Earthworms are believed to have is a bit overrated. Earthworms, like most worms, can regenerate from damage and potentially even survive grievous wounds if they manage to get away. But that's a big if. Most builds that spec into high passive health regen also tend to spec into the autonomy perk as well. This perk allows...
He's just not in a rush at all. Like, the frog is taking a siesta mid-bite.
Users' appendages to break off if grabbed, allowing them to escape a grappling attack.
Damn.
This is a costly ability and one that I normally don't speak very highly of.
Right.
But situationally, it can be extremely clutch.
That's
Earthworms
gross.
do not have this perk, and so when attacked, they often cannot do anything
stuck.
except tank the damage and try to burrow away.
They're just
If that doesn't
stuck.
work, they're completely out of options.
Completely. That's it.
In
He
D tier-
summarized it in like a paragraph.
That's it.
Is the Leech also F tier? Leeches seem like they're pretty cool, man.
Leech.
You know?
Work, they're completely out of options.
If it's about cultural impact, Earthworm and Leech are S tier.
Absolutely.
In D tier, we have the Leech. As the literal namesake for the term used to describe deliberately being carried by the rest of your team, I actually think leeches are done a bit dirty. Yes, many Leech players do fit the description, attacking a player in a higher weight class and just coasting off the free XP.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of Leech players who play an honest, active hunting strategy and have to fight to survive, same as any other predatory build. Like most other aquatic builds, they thrive off of their strong matchup against low tiers like frogs, and spawn camp them mercilessly. Leeches share the same garbage base stats as most other worms though. And with lackluster defenses and mobility, they still get one-shot by fish, birds, and snakes all the time.
Right.
Frankly, the parasite strategy might actually be the less viable of the two, as leeches are not well protected at all when attached to a host, and can easily get picked off by perceptive players.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Damn, that's it.
In C tier, we have the Horsehair worm. This nematode takes the burrowing proficiency of the worm faction and uses it for an unorthodox purpose.
What does it do? Tell me what it does, Skitten. It looks suspicious.
I don't like it.
Burrowing into flesh.
God
Horsehair worm
damn
players
it!
opt for
Look at this design. Look at
for
it.
an unorthodox purpose.
Look what it
Burrowing
does. Look at this. Look how much worm is in this little body. Oh my God. It's so gross, but it's kind of cool.
into flesh. Horsehair worm players opt for the parasitoid game plan, infecting their hosts when they drink from contaminated water.
Infected.
It then uses its burrowing ability to pierce the digestive tract and hide out in the insect's
It's
circulatory
inside
system,
you,
leeching
not in a
XP
good
from
way.
it as it continues its playthrough relatively unimpeded. But once the worm reaches its max level, it activates its special ability, Mind
Jump into
Control,
lake.
to
Do I
change
have to
the
watch
insect's
it?
quest
Yes.
objective marker to the nearest body of
Jump
water.
into lake.
Once the insect player self-destructs,
Damn.
the worm burrows out of its body and continues with the rest of its playthrough. This strategy is incredibly effective and requires very little technical
Those are
skill,
worms.
as once you
Those are
successfully
worms.
infect a host,
Oh,
you can
God.
farm XP entirely AFK.
Jesus.
Mind Control is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, and it's shocking the devs gave it to a random worm build. Still, as with any parasitoid playstyle,
Ugh.
the main downside is that your survival is tied to that of your host. So if you pick a scrub, you might get one shot when they accidentally wander too close to a spider's den.
I'm dead.
And this isn't just a hypothetical. In fact, in some servers, the fish player base is literally reliant on janitoring the self-destructing players.
Ah.
Still, at least by being an internal parasite, they don't run
Okay.
the risk of being picked off like the leech does.
Ugh.
Fireworm. He
In
sounds
B
cool.
tier, we have the Fireworm,
is cool.
a marine build with excellent defensive stats.
Yeah.
Fireworms have toxic spines, which inflict serious damage on any player dumb enough to attack them. This effect is powerful enough that even large tank builds cannot just eat the damage
smacked the
and will
shit
learn
out.
quickly not to mess with them.
She punished it.
Unfortunately for Fireworm mains, because their spikes are small and fragile, they cannot pierce thick chitin or keratin armor. This
Oh.
means any player with a thick exoskeleton
Oh, no.
can completely negate the Fireworm's
Damn.
defense and crush them like they would any other worm.
He's just, like, not
Some
worried.
fish mains have also spec'd into the beak attribute in order to be
Yeah.
able to do the same thing. Parrotfish and pufferfish are a huge problem for builds that
Damn.
rely on defensive abilities, as their powerful beaks can crush armor and don't take damage from poison spikes. So, fireworms are untouchable to a lot of players, but there's enough counterplay prevalent in the meta right now that I can't give them a high tier rank.
Passing him from leg to leg. Tubeworm.
Also in B tier, we have the Tubeworm.
I don't like
of
it.
all the lazy AFK XP farming
I don't
builds
like
in the
it.
game, there isn't a single one that goes to as extreme of lengths to do so as the Tubeworm. The Tubeworm has crazy high toxic damage resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it needs to tank venom damage, not because it preys upon builds that use poison for defense. No, the Tubeworm
Why are you
needs
just
toxic.
hoeing this lizard in this clip for no reason? Like, bro, you just hoed him. He had
Right,
nothing
like we
to do
didn't
with
need to
this.
see this.
Not because it
It
preys
just
upon
is a
builds
cool
that use
clip.
poison
Yeah.
for defense. No, the Tubeworm needs toxic damage resistance because its strategy is to set up shop next to deep sea hydrothermal vents and basically eat the sulfur jetting out from them.
Oh my
It
god.
absorbs hydrogen sulfide using its plume. And
Oh
because
my
of a
God.
special team-up ability they have with bacteria, they're actually able to use that as an XP source. Meaning
Huh.
they don't even need to really eat at all.
Right.
They don't need to find food, they just constantly absorb the noxious sulfur spewing out of these
I
vents.
don't like it.
Because the sulfide turns water around these vents toxic, the tubeworm doesn't have to worry about attacks from predators.
Huh.
They do, however, have to worry about the vents shutting down.
Right.
Hydrothermal vents do not last forever, and when they go dark or erupt into lava flows, it's GG for entire colonies of tubeworms.
Damn.
An
Interesting.
incredibly effective XP farming technique, but like a lot of these types of strats, it works until it doesn't.
Okay. I like that all or
Velvet
nothing.
In A tier, we
We don't
have the
use
Velvet
that.
Worm. This build has even worse defensive stats than the
Look at
other
his little
worms,
feet.
as it doesn't have the same slime coating that the others do. However, it makes up for it by converting that slime ability into one of the most unique abilities in the game,
Spit.
a projectile attack. The Velvet Worm can fire a glue-like slime from its papillae.
I like to think of him making different sound effects as he does it.
Do you?
It makes it more enjoyable.
Does it?
It's kind of gross, but just think of him saying something silly. Maybe like a Harry Potter spell. I told you, it makes it better.
The Velvet Worm can fire a glue-like
disgusting.
slime from its papillae. This slime attack deals no damage. It's not toxic and doesn't hit with
Also
near enough
definitely
force to be
gets
threatening on
TOS.
its own.
Right.
However, the slime is sticky and hardens quickly, debuffing the target's speed stat and potentially
Disgusting.
even completely immobilizing it.
It's singed.
This
It's literally
slime is
singed.
extremely strong once hardened. similar to spider silk in terms of what it's capable of immobilizing.
Yeah, but like not
Even
as
builds
cool.
with vastly higher power stats are not safe
God
from being
damn it.
essentially frozen by the Velvet Worm's attacks. Now, while this is no doubt a powerful ability,
Right.
it has plenty of limitations. It
Okay.
is woefully
It
inaccurate.
gave it a 40% accuracy rating.
Damn.
That shit's ass.
Cool down 15 seconds.
No doubt a powerful ability. It has plenty of limitations. It is woefully inaccurate and will struggle to hit
It's really
smaller
not-
or
it's
invasive
really not
targets
accurate.
consistently. It is also relatively short-ranged, only being able to hit targets a few body lengths away. And because it doesn't deal any direct damage, even if the Velvet Worm manages to pin down a build like the Centipede or Scorpion,
Right.
it'll still be taking on considerable counterattack risk when it tries to approach.
Right. Bobbit.
And last in A tier, we have the
nice.
Bobbit Worm. This build is easily one of the most terrifying things, not just in the Worm faction, but in the entire game. The Bobbit Worm is a mid-sized benthic worm build which can burrow up to
Define
10 feet
mid-sized.
deep into the ocean floor. However, unlike most burrowing worm builds,
big is
the
that?
Bobbit Worm is not a scavenger. It's not burrowing to look for food scraps or to escape predators. No, the Bobbit Worm is an ambush build.
It took out that
lies
whole
in
fish.
wait, and as soon as another player wanders close enough to its burrow, it
Do it.
strikes, using what may genuinely be the most wicked pair of mandibles in the entire game. These powerful jaws inflict devastating damage, while simultaneously
Wow.
hooking into their target so that it can be dragged down
Nice.
below the ocean floor, never to be seen again.
Nice.
Now, despite their ferocity, I don't want to overhype the Bobbit
cuttlefish.
Worm. Though they are
He just popped
menacing,
away.
skilled players can play around their threat range pretty easily. Their low perception stats make them pretty inaccurate when lunging towards their targets. Their attacks
God,
are
you know what it
deceptively
is?
slow, and as long as
It's a Thresher Maw.
Yeah.
It's a Thresher Maw from Mass Effect.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Just really tiny.
inaccurate when lunging towards
Wait until
their
he grows up, man. He's gonna be vicious.
targets. Their attacks are deceptively slow, and as long as you position yourself even slightly above the seabed,
I really didn't
they
see
should
him there,
be
though.
reactable and
Right.
easily dodged. Skilled fish
don't know what
players
game
have
that's
even
from.
been known to drive Bobbit Worm players out of their territory by teaming up and mobbing their burrows.
I'm
This
dead.
requires a successful perception check with a pretty high DC, but if your party is competent enough, you really shouldn't have to worry about Bobbit Worms that much. Despite being easily the most terrifying build on this list, the Bobbit Worm's poor frame data and predictable gameplay
Well, you were right
keeps it
there,
out of the
bud.
higher tiers.
It doesn't get easier than that.
Hammerhead
And in
Flatworm.
S tier, we have the Hammerhead
I don't like
Flat.
it.
We have an S tier worm.
He's too shiny.
Go worms.
He's too
Go
shiny.
worm. This is gonna be brutal,
I don't
right?
like it.
Flatworms are the solo hunters of the worm faction, and the Hammerhead Flatworm is one of the best.
Wow.
They're faster than other worms, which isn't saying a lot, but still, it's
Faster
relevant.
than other- fast
They
for
possess a
worm.
devastatingly powerful neurotoxic slime, the same toxin found in pufferfish and blue-ringed octopus,
Dead
which they
ass.
employ both offensively and defensively. But their most recognizable feature, their wide, flat head, was a bit of a gamble in terms of how they spent their evolution points.
Right.
By
This looks
specking into the
fascinating.
Hammerhead attribute, these flatworms sacrificed their ability to dig efficiently. But in doing so, they greatly boosted their perception stat. Similar to the Hammerhead shark, the flatworm's Hammerhead is loaded with chemoreceptors, enabling the worm to track down prey by following its scent. In addition to their toxic defense, flatworms are the best regenerators in the game, able to heal all the way back to full health, even when cut into tiny pieces.
And it becomes multiple
They can
worms.
really only be permanently defeated by non-physical damage, such as dehydration, salt, acid, that sort of thing.
Oh,
Because
shit.
it's borderline unkillable
Huh?
through conventional combat,
Unkillable?
the Hammerhead Flatworm is the only worm build to achieve the rank of S tier.
I want a whole video about that worm invincibility thing. How does one worm become many worms?
I'm fascinated as
So
well.
if you became a worm,
I was gonna say, so
but
I
you
feel
were
like I feel like my
flathead
husband.
worm.
So the question I asked my husband at the beginning of the video, right? Would he still love me if I was a worm? I think it depends on what kind of worm I was.
Yeah.
Like if I was an earthworm, then no.
It's
But
over.
maybe if I was a velvet worm,
If you were an earthworm, we could go fishing together. One time, but who needs more than one time fishing? But if you're that worm, I could chop you up. And then when you're done being a worm,
why would
they
you want
be,
to chop me up?
Because then when you're done being a worm, there'll be multiple
I'm never
of
gonna
you.
be done being a worm. I'm always gonna be the worm.
Then I'm definitely chopping you up.
Why?
Because then you'll have like 20 of yous.
But
What's
I'll
better
be a
than-
worm.
But there'll be 20 of your worms. Then I'll have like a little wife worm colony, and then I can give you all little names, and then we do like a little elections
my name
each
is
year.
still my name. They're all me.
We could do like a little elections, and we could have like a little queen worm, and I give her like a little hat.
You don't elect the queen.
And then she could wear the hat for like a couple months, and then we could reconvene on the voting.
Okay.
Multiple skitting worm colony. I'm down for that. A man has dreams.
Nobody wants this.
We'll see you in the next video. Tell me what you would name your queen skitting worm.
That's not the answer any wife wants.
Join skitting on her channel for Dear Zoo. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.